Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's fun to work with you. I've been living the law of attraction for probably ever since I was in my 20s. I didn't even know I was doing it then, just something I naturally did. So then now it's become a field of study. There are books out by everybody. Everybody and their uncle has a website on it. And yet a lot of people are using it and still not achieving the goals they want. So we're going to take a look at what is it that's blocking us. What are some of the exercised pieces of the technology that need to be focused on. I love this. It says, this life is a test. It is only a test. If it had been an actual life, you would have received further instructions on where to go and what to do. That was a sign that I saw on a person's cubicle in a company that I worked with. And so I thought that's pretty accurate. You know, most of us don't have a guidebook about how to live the perfect life. We weren't born with an operator's manual. You know, your VCR has more instructions in it than most of us got growing up. And when you look at your life and you think about what you learned in school, most of what we learned in school we never used. It means when the last time you quoted the 5 causes of the Civil War to anybody, you know? That never happened. And yet, only about 3% of kids going to school in America ever learn about setting goals, how to control their own mood states and emotional states, learning about universal principles and laws and relationships, communication skills, values, ethics, the things that really matter in our life. Now, what I did a book. I put a book together a couple of years ago. It's called The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. It has 64 principles in it. And we're going to look at some of those tonight because they relate to law of attraction. I'm also going to draw upon the movie The Secret and the book The Secret, which I was featured in along with 23 other people. How many of you have seen The Secret, by the way? Can I see a show of hands? Almost everybody. How many have not, just to make sure? Okay, about a fourth. So what happens is a lot of people, they're doing a lot of it, but it's not working. And one of the reasons is because they're sitting there visualizing and thinking it's all going to work. They just have to have a good feeling, create a vibrational match, ask, believe, receive, and sit in their bedroom and a Cadillac will show up in their garage, you know? And unless you live at the bottom of a hill, like where a T is, you know, it's not likely. And so there's that. And the other thing that's stopping people is that they're not addressing the unconscious limiting beliefs that are below the threshold of awareness that are stopping you. So we're going to take a look tonight about how to deal with both of those issues. But let's go ahead and talk about this. If you could, would you rather take the short route or the long route to success? Short route. That make sense? Yeah. So wouldn't it make sense just to do that? You know, turbo mouse, just like go right for the cheese. Because too many of us, literally, we get lost in the maze. You know, we're not clear. We get stuck. We just go down cul-de-sacs. We just want to be able to go straight to it. And what I've devoted my life to, literally the last 33 years, since I met W. Clement Stone, who was my mentor, who introduced me to the law of attraction, although at that time he called it the power of positive thinking and the power of positive expectancy. What happened was, I've really been intrigued with how do you go faster, further, with less effort. And what we're going to share tonight is the mental aspect of doing that. How can we go where we want to go further without expending as much effort? Now, that doesn't mean no action. Remember we said action? But action that you enjoy, action that's fun, action that goes like, wow, this is really cool. I get to do this. Amazing. I mean, I get to stand here and talk to you about things I care about and get paid ridiculous amounts of money and make a DVD that other people that couldn't get here will get to see and pay me money for and have their life change and then get hundreds of letters a week about you changed my life. That's fun, okay? I do that for free. I do. Probably 20 times a year, 10, 20 times a year. I do them for nonprofit organizations. And if I was retired, which I don't ever plan to because I'm having too much fun, but if I were, I'm sure I'd go out and give free talks and write more books because when I'm not happy. You know, I think it was Thomas Edison said, when your vocation becomes your vacation, you've reached the pinnacle in life. You know, what you love, you know, do you think Oprah's having fun? Yeah. I mean, I've been on her show. She's having fun. She's having fun when she's making movies. She's having fun when she's doing her show. She's having fun building that school in Africa, doing all the things she does when she can give everyone in the audience a car. You don't think that's a trip? You know, that's fun. And so when Tiger Woods is playing golf, when Andre Agassi is playing tennis, they're having fun. So you want to figure out, and one of the things we talk about in law of attraction is follow your bliss, follow your heart, do what you love, the money will follow. Create the vibrational match for bringing in more by doing the things that make you feel good. So law of attraction is always at work. People say, well, it's not working in my life. I have the worst luck ever. You know? Well, guess what? They're focusing on what? the worst luck ever. And what they get more of? More bad luck, okay? So whatever you think about, focus on, you're going to get more of. And the reality is most people spend their entire life talking about reality. And what you have to do if you're going to become successful with the law of attraction is talk about your vision, talk about what you want, talk about how you're expecting it to happen. You know, my main mentor was a guy named W. Clement Stone. He was an inverse paranoid. He literally thought the world was plotting to do him good all the time. You know? And he talked about it. I mean, you know, literally, I remember when he was talking to this guy whose house had just fallen in the ocean in California. They do that on the edge of the ocean sometimes, you know. And the guy said, well, what good's going to come from this? And Stone actually helped him figure out what the good was. And I had a client recently, their car broke down on the side of the road, and they're going, well, this, how could this be good? Person that pulled over to help him, they end up marrying him. Okay, so you never know. So everything that you think about that's bad could be something that has a really good. W. Clement Stone always said every negative event, and that's just made up, we decide it's negative, has within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. You know, many of you have gotten illnesses, and as a result of that, changed your life, became more conscious, changed your diet, met really cool people, got out of your negativity. Some of you had a divorce, and you thought it was the end of the world, only to find a year later you were happier. You had to develop internal strength and become more self-sufficient, and maybe you met someone that was even more fulfilling than the person you lost. You know, death, grief, all those things, there's actually a gift in all of that. One of the teachers in The Secret, John DeMartini, he teaches this. My wife's best friend died a number of years ago from cancer. She had cancer. She was so freaked out about it, she wouldn't tell anyone. By the time she finally went to the doctor, it was too late. And these were people that really, really loved each other. I mean, they were like, you know, peas in a pod. And so she was totally convinced her life was over. She'd put all this energy, you know, like all your eggs in one basket kind of for friendship. And we were working with John DeMartini, and he helped my wife realize in about 2 hours, she went through the amount of healing work it might take 6 months for a normal grieving person. Here's what John teaches. Every time you lose something, what you lost shows up immediately around you, but it shows up in other people. And so he said, what was one of the qualities you lost when Shannon died? She said, well, someone that was really funny. He says, okay, now think, when she died, who showed up in your life that was really funny? And she said, wow, it's true. I just reconnected with my niece at that point. My niece is hysterical. Okay, what was the other quality? He went down through all the qualities. And by the end of that 2-hour process, she realized everything she'd lost in Shannon had showed up in some other area of her life. Because the universe is all about balance. It never takes anything away without giving you something as well. But most of us never learned that. So what do? We look at what left us and we focus all our energy there and we feel bad, and then we attract more stuff into our life to feel bad about instead of going, okay, that left, what's there? Anytime a door closes, another one opens. See, it works like that. All right, let's keep going. Law of attraction. As I said, it's universal. It's like gravity. It's always working. Everything in your life that you're experiencing, you have attracted into your life by your thoughts, your fantasies, your fears, which are just fantasies of bad things as opposed to fantasies of good things. You've attracted it by the emotions that are created by that. Now, here's a little nuance for those of you who are studying this. Often comes up, can you watch the news? Because the news is so negative. And the answer is yes, as long as you have no emotional reaction to it. But how long has it been since you could watch the news and see people being killed and slaughtered and people blowing up and kidnappings happening, and you don't go, gosh, that shouldn't happen that way? I mean, how many of you watched Katrina and got really mad, you know, as people weren't responding and the government wasn't responding and people were there and people were dying and helicopters and you know, I mean, I remember being in Hawaii and I said, we got to turn this off because I'm getting angry. You know, as long I can watch the news neutrally a lot, but I was getting angry. See, if you can do it without reaction, great. But as soon as you have an emotion, that emotion goes off into the universe and attracts back to you that which is in harmonic resonance with that emotion. So a lot of people say like attracts like. It's not really like that. Because really, if you look at your relationships, you actually are more attracted to people who are different from you because they energize you. My wife's really spontaneous and fun. I tend to be more serious, more sedentary. She's a kinesthetic, I'm a visual auditory. And you know, she's like, let's go swim naked in the beach. You know, and I'm going, really? jumps in, you know. She's like a dolphin. She just has so much fun. She's a total player. Like, her life purpose is to, I call her a day maker. When people end up talking to my wife for an hour, they go, you made my day. She leaves messages. People actually call back and say, that's the best message I've ever had on the answering machine in my life. She's like that. You know, I leave very efficient messages, you know, because that's me. Now, she's attracted to my groundedness, and I'm attracted to her spontaneity. And normally in a relationship, you get a balloon and a string. 2 strings, very boring. Okay? 2 balloons, you just fly away out in space, and, you know. But it's that dynamic tension between the differences that you have. And here's another theory I have, that you are attracted to people that are actualizing parts of you that you need to learn how to actualize that you haven't actualized yet. That's often why people will grow apart after a while. You got what you were meant to get out of that relationship. And that's often painful, given that most of us think that longevity is the, what we call definition of a great relationship. But quite often you'll meet somebody, this happens with friends too. You learn to be more assertive, or have more fun, or learn how to sell, or learn how to ask for what you want, or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, there's no juice, there's no learning, there's no dynamism, there's nothing new going on. Now, in a long-term committed relationship, we can learn to keep growing and expanding ourselves and reaching out and, you know, trying on new things, keep the dynamic alive. But in general, we're attracted to people who are more different than they are similar. But how law of attraction works is when you're holding an emotion, it will go out, it sends out a signal, and anything that's in harmonic resonance with that signal will be attracted to you, and you will be attracted to it. It will start to resonate. I'll give you an example. If we had 5 tuning forks in a room, an A, an E, a C, a D, an F, and another A, right? What would happen is, if I hit the tuning fork that's an A over here, this A tuning fork will start to vibrate. The other 3 won't. It's not in harmonic resonance with it. When you walk into a room, you can feel people who you're in harmonic resonance. You'll look around and someone will go, oh, that person's attractive to me. Not necessarily because they're physical, although it may be a physical attraction, but there's just something about them, and I kind of want to edge over. Maybe I kind of listen to their conversation a little bit on the edge, see if ooh, yeah, I like what she's talking about. That's kind of cool. And now I'm more attracted, see, because it's vibrating within me. Someone that's charismatic walks into a room, they get a lot of people vibrating, you know, because you are in a harmonic resonance with whatever it is that they're doing. If you take a piano and you hit a C chord on one piano, if there's another piano in the room, those same strings will start to vibrate. It's called harmonic resonance, and the same thing works with law of attraction. So this is why it's important that you keep your mental state at a high level. You keep your emotions at a high level, enthusiasm, love, joy, compassion, peace, etc. Because when you're in that state, you're going to attract more in. We're going to talk a little bit about meditation, forgiveness, appreciation, gratitude. Whenever you're in those states, you're going to attract more to appreciate, more to be grateful for, more things to love, more things to feel joyful about. This making sense so far? Okay, good.